Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the Beluga series. There has been a lot going on in Belugaville recently, and I want to talk about how you're fat because you eat too many donuts. Okay, so this content, it's not supposed to be against all women who are overweight and they're on a weight loss journey. No, that's who this content is for. I'm going to be talking about the beluga, greedy ass bitches who constantly try to talk shit about skinny women. They talk shit about thin women. They say that we have no asses and that we're built like a little boy. And it's like, okay, I'd rather be built like a little boy than be built like an obese man. So which one is it? Would you rather look like someone who is youthful and healthy, or would you rather be shaped like a rhinoceros? But a part of why these belugas are so fat is because they are addicted to donuts. Their morning routine is leveled down. Every morning they wake up and they sabotage themselves. They wake up, they drive to Dunkin' Donuts, they drive to Krispy Kreme, they drive to Voodoo Donuts, they go to all these different donut shops, and that's what they eat for breakfast because they don't care about their own bodies. And so they get a sugar high, and then they have a sugar crash about 2 hours later. And they also have a carb crash. They're basically just eating a bunch of processed food, and their body has no nutrients. And so it's going to cause the hunger signals to spike 2 hours later. If you want to guarantee that you're going to feel more hungry, all you have to do is just eat a donut. Just copy what the beluga's doing. And it's like, ma'am, you're not curing your hunger. You're actually making it worse. You're going to cause yourself to become more hungry as time goes on. But I've talked about this before on my channel. A lot of belugas are addicted to the white powder, okay? They're addicted to the white stuff. Sugar, salt, and flour. They literally live their lives based on sugar, salt, and flour. That's the best thing they have to look forward to in their entire day, is going to the donut shop. You know why? Because she hates her job. She hates going into her job. That's why she's a Karen against you. That's why she hates all the pretty women at her job. And she sends nasty emails trying to report people to HR. It's because she's a beluga who's addicted to donuts. She's addicted to donuts because she doesn't have any healthy addictions. She's not addicted to leveling up. She's not addicted to achieving her goals or, making friendships and like deepening her relationships and stuff. No. All she has to look forward to is a piece of bread with a hole in it and a little bit of white glaze on top of it. And it's like, ma'am, that's all you have to look for. You're telling me that out of all the things that you could be doing on this earth, the biggest thing you have to look forward to in 2026 is eating a piece of bread with a hole in it. First of all, if I'm going to eat a dessert, I want my dessert to at least be pretty. Half of these donuts that these belugas are eating, they're not even pretty. They don't even look cute. They literally look messy when they make them. Half of the donuts are dry when they come out of the package, and then these belugas have the audacity to purchase an entire box of donuts and then to bring it to work. And then we're supposed to be grateful that Sally brought an entire box of Krispy Kremes. And it's like, ma'am, that is not the way to make friends. Sabotaging my body goals is not going to make me into your friend. And then they get mad when you don't say thank you or bow down and worship them. So it's like a lot of them are addicted to donuts because not only do they eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but they also use donuts as a manipulation tactic because they try to bring in the donuts to everybody else because they think everybody else is addicted to sugar like they are. And so they bring them into the office expecting them to be gone within the hour. And they bring them in because that's their way of making friends. Now you're supposed to go and kiss Sally's ass because she brought in some crusty ass donuts. First of all, it should not be called Krispy Kreme. It should be called Krusty Kreme. Because that's really what a lot of the donuts taste like. You're literally just biting into air. And then there's just this little thin crust on the outside. So it's like, Sally, why would I be happy that you brought some crusty ass donuts into the office? One time, there was this beluga. He was actually a belugo. One time there was a belugo that worked at my job. And we were sitting in the back. He brought in some donuts. The entire donut box was literally infested with ants. I'm not lying right now. I swear, I put that on everything. That really happened. He was an obese man. He was trying to, make friends or whatever. He brought in the fucking donut box. As soon as we opened the box, dozens of ants crawled out of the donut box. And I'm like, okay, first of all, did you not notice that this restaurant you went to was infested with bugs when you actually went there? How could there be that many ants in there? And how could you be that mindless? You're that absent-minded to where you don't even open the box of donuts before you purchase it. That's the mindset of a beluga. They never double check things. They don't double check the calories. They're not double checking the macros. They're not double checking their weight. So, of course, he's going to walk into the office and bring us a box of donuts where it literally has ants crawling inside of the box. That's just another day in the life of a beluga. They're using the donuts as a form of escapism because when you're biting into a donut, you get that dopamine hit. um it's kind of like this feel good chemical in your brain, and it's like, excuse me, bitch, I'm gonna get my dopamine hit by looking good. I'd rather get my dopamine hit by having money in my bank account instead of wasting $300 a month going to a donut shop because they also overprice the donuts. It's literally a ripoff. I could get an entire box of donuts from Vaughn's for like less than $20 rather than buying one or two donuts for $15. So you're telling me I paid money so that I could gain weight, have a sugar spike, feed the inflammation in my body, cause wrinkles, disrupt my hormones. All these women are talking about, oh, well, I want to balance my hormones. Oh, I'm cycle syncing. Oh, I want to reduce my PCOS symptoms. Okay, do you think that this donut is going to help you with that, ma'am? So it literally makes no logical sense. There are so many things in our society that just, it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Why would I spend all that money on a freaking piece of bread with a circle in the middle of it? I'm like, first of all, bitch, if I'm going to get a donut, at least give me a big donut with some filling and, like, put some extra frosting. Put, like, some bacon bits on there. Let me get some protein content or something. It's like, you want to give me the most basic donut. And then what they really do for the big backs is they will have these breakfast sandwiches. Like in my city, there's a breakfast, there's like a bagel shop, and you walk into the bagel shop, one of the options is you can get a breakfast sandwich, and then the bread part is actually a donut. So it's like a donut, and then it has like bacon, egg, and cheese on it. And then like the other part of the bread is like a glazed donut. Sometimes they top it with maple syrup. So it's like, okay, you guys are addicted to the white stuff. So I don't want to hear you talking down on anybody that's addicted to other substances because you're basically addicted to that substance, which is sugar, flour, because that's how you make the donuts. They're made out of flour. And you're also addicted to self-sabotaging. But part of the whole pull with donuts is a lot of belugas are living terrible lives because they have nothing to look forward to. Their job sucks, their dating life sucks, their social climbing ability is non-existent. They're walking around carrying 70 pounds of excess weight. I mean, I'd be depressed too. The back of their neck looks like a pack of hot dogs. I mean, I would be very sad if I looked like a linebacker. I would be very depressed over that. But the way to cure depression is not by eating donuts. But a lot of times, all of these big companies, they will take advantage of the beluga's depression. They take advantage of the belugas and their addictions. And they know, okay, all the belugas are going to buy our donuts. So they are literally out here sitting in a corporate office somewhere trying to figure out how to take your money as a beluga. You are literally their target audience. And then people are like, oh, Exoticals United, I just can't help it. Like, I just drive past the sign and, it just calls to me. Those donuts are calling my name. I always see the ads on my stuff. And it's like, yeah, because they know what kind of shit you're looking up. They already know that you downloaded the Chick-fil-A app. They know that you have the McDonald's app on your phone. They know that you're talking about food 24/7. They know that you stop at 7-Eleven, you always get the big gulp. And that's another part of beluga culture. They always have to get the biggest size. It's never just get a size small, get a kid's meal or something. No, it's always I have to have the extra large, super size, big gulp. And they're doing it because that's the biggest thing they have to look forward to when they wake up in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I'm looking forward to how good my makeup's going to look. I'm looking forward to seeing my stomach in the mirror. I'm looking forward to going to do my workout, making my smoothie. I have so many other positive things going on in my life. So no, I don't have to go and drive 5 miles out of the way just so I could go stop at Krusty Kreme donuts. Because it's like, okay, which one is it? Do I want to eat the snack or do I want to be a snack? Bitch, I am a fucking Krispy Kreme donut. People want to glaze me up all the time, okay? So instead of me worshiping and pedestalizing these sweets, I'd rather put myself on that pedestal. That's a part of the beluga mindset is they're constantly putting food on the pedestal. They put sweets on the pedestal, they put whatever their addiction is, that's the center of their life. I would rather put myself on that same pedestal. So instead of me lusting after donuts or desiring donuts, I'd rather just be the one that's desirable myself. I would rather look in the mirror and say, wow, I look sweet. Instead of me craving sweets, why don't I just make myself look sweet by doing a cute little makeup look and, just being a princess instead of slaving away, making all this money at a job just so I can give it all to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm over here treating Dunkin' Donuts like it's a princess instead of treating myself like the fucking princess that I am. So, yeah, that's part of the beluga mindset. A beluga wakes up in the morning, and the biggest thing she has to look forward to in her morning routine is stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. Because think about it, she has to drive in traffic. She hates driving. You know what I'm doing while I'm driving? I enjoy driving, actually. So when I'm driving, I like to listen to my favorite music. I'm singing along with the music. I will be practicing my second language when I'm driving. I'm over here listening to podcasts when I'm driving. I'll be FaceTiming family members like my mom and dad while I'm driving. So I'm not thinking about, oh my God, this, driving in traffic sucks so bad because I have to go to this job I hate. So let me cope by stopping over at a donut shop. Let me try to cope by stopping at McDonald's on my way there. Let me cope by going to the gas station. First of all, that doesn't even make sense because they talk so much shit about how they hate driving in traffic. And it's like, ma'am, you're making your trip longer by waiting in a 30-minute McDonald's line. So you're not getting there any faster because, oh, you stopped and got some donuts or you stopped at McDonald's. So it's like we can all see through the lies anyway. And honestly, when I was a beluga, I stopped being a beluga by just gradually like weaning myself off of it. So in my case, my beluga weakness at the gas station, it was more so like the breakfast sandwiches. So the grilled cheese with like bacon, egg, and cheese on it. That was my weakness, was eating a 2,000 calorie sandwich for breakfast at the gas station. And so I had to stop myself from doing that. Like, okay, maybe instead of going every day, maybe I can cut it down to every other day and then cut it down to only once a week. And then maybe I can find a replacement at the gas station. So instead of getting a sandwich, maybe next time I can get like a protein bar, or maybe I can just eventually wean myself off of it. A lot of belugas, they don't know how to go from 0 to 100. The only way they can go from 0 to 100 is if you dangle a donut in front of their face. Then they're going to suddenly get some motivation. So a beluga will never be able to stop being a beluga until she finds some different motivation. They don't have anything else that's motivating or exciting them. That's why the donut becomes their excitement. That's the biggest part of their morning routine is, oh my God, they just came out with these new mint chocolate donuts. Oh, Cookie Crumble, the Crumble cookie place, they just came out with these new cookies. Did you know that I have never had crumble cookies? I've never even tasted it before. I've never had it before. You know why? Because I'm not fucking interested. As soon as I heard about the nutrition facts from fucking crumble cookie, I was like, oh hell no, I'm not going there. 1,000 calories just for a cookie? No cookie is that good. That's not even my favorite dessert. Now, if it would have been crumble cupcakes or something like that, something with frosting, okay, that would make a little bit more sense for me, but why would I pay money to become fatter? And I'm driving in traffic and I have to deal with all this road rage. Like, just think about how many people have road rage. The amount of fights that I have seen break out in the Chick-fil-A line or like in a drive-thru line, it's always at the drive-thru, I'm telling you. They're always in a bad mood at the drive-thru because you have a bunch of people who are addicted to the white stuff. They're addicted to sugar, addicted to salt, addicted to flour. So, they're a bunch of white powder addicts who are waiting in line. They're getting impatient. They're getting antsy. They start honking at you. They're bumping into the side of the building. They're bumping into the little poles on the side of the drive-thru thing, all so they can get their fucking donut. Like, imagine damaging your car and scratching your car up on a left turn. Imagine driving through oncoming traffic, making illegal U-turns on the road just so you could try to skirt over into the drive-thru to get yourself some donuts. That is some beluga shit. That is some big back behavior. And then those same bitches don't want to wait in line at the gym. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. It's too crowded. I had to wait to use the machine. Bitch, you waited 30 minutes just to get Dunkin' Donuts. You guys are standing in line outside of the ice cream shop in 90-degree heat just so you can get a tiny cup of 1,000 calories worth of pure sugar and fat. So I just feel like in order to be a beluga, you have to be very determined. It's actually very difficult to become a beluga. Like, no, let's think about this. Think about how many excess calories it takes for you to gain weight. 3,500 extra calories, that's a pound. So if she is fucking 50 or 100 pounds overweight, that's hundreds of thousands of extra calories she was having consistently. So it's like, ma'am, you already have the qualities. You're clearly a very consistent and determined person. You're just using that quality in the wrong direction. So it's like, no, I'm not going to use all of my time and energy so I can make illegal U-turns in the intersection just so I could skirt off into fucking Chick-fil-A. And then they make a long-ass line at the Chick-fil-A's where the cars will be going out into the street. So now the rest of us who are not belugas, the rest of us who are just minding our business trying to drive, now we have to get over. We have to get over all in one lane. So you're literally contributing. Now you're making traffic worse. All of that complaining about how you dislike traffic while simultaneously creating traffic by being in these long-ass lines in the drive-thru. And then your car is like curving out onto the road. That's super illegal, by the way. You're literally blocking several lanes in the middle of the road. And then you wonder why people have road rage against you. And then these same women who are belugas, they'll eat their Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast. They're eating their Chick-fil-A for lunch because somehow within Belugaville, they have convinced each other that Chick-fil-A is healthy and that, Chick-fil-A is like a good option. And, that's a healthy lunch. That's a skinny girl lunch. You just leveled up by eating Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, why are the only options always fast food? Like, why is the option never to just cook at home or like eat some fucking vegetables? Why is it always, oh no, why don't you just get a small fry at McDonald's? I'm like, ma'am, why don't we just take it all the way and you just stop being a fast food addict? How about that? How about them apples? Like the other day, somebody commented on my live stream. They were naming some restaurant. I don't even know half of the fast food restaurants. Have any new fast food restaurants come out in the past 5 years? I have no idea. Because that's not a part of my cultural background. I'm not a part of beluga culture. I don't want to be a monocultural beluga. Here on this channel, we talk a lot about monoculturalism versus multiculturalism. So I'm multicultural, bitch. I don't just hang out with obese people. I hang out with people of all sizes. Okay, so some people might be obese, but the majority of them are not. So no, I don't spend my time talking about the newest fast food restaurant that just opened up in the ghetto and I'm going to go drive over there and risk my life and then have crackheads standing outside of my window freaking begging me to give them some of the food. And that's another thing too. I'm like, how are you a beluga and then you don't even want to share your food with a homeless person? Somebody is like begging for food. They're over here starving. This is a grown man. He's 85 pounds. He's a crack addict. And you won't give him any food. But then you want to buy yourself 5 or 10 Big Macs. But like when it comes to the whole crackhead thing, I'm not willing to risk my safety and be next to a bunch of crackheads just so I can get some McDonald's. That just doesn't make logical sense. Like, is that really how I want to spend my day? Do I really want to spend my day at the gas stations getting catcalled? Because like some belugas, they literally get fast food every day or like every other day. And then I heard this one girl, she was like, oh, I didn't know what to eat. So I sat there and thought about it for 30 minutes. Like, what kind of food am I in the mood for? Ma'am, you sat there for 30 minutes just thinking and meditating on what kind of takeout you want to eat? You could have done a whole workout. Like, if I'm going to be thinking that hard for 30 minutes, I could have cooked something. Why would I sit there? Like, clearly you're not really that hungry. If you have to sit there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you're scrolling on DoorDash for an hour just so you can figure out what food. Ma'am, you're not hungry. You're just coping. You're coping. You're bored. That's why you're eating. It's because you're actually bored. It's not because you're hungry. Because true hunger, if you're really hungry, you'll have the symptoms of hunger, which is stomach growling, feeling an empty sensation, feeling a loss of energy, maybe even feeling faint somehow. So those are the real symptoms of hunger. If you don't have those symptoms, you are not hungry. So if you told me that you just fucking sat there for 30 minutes or you're scrolling on DoorDash for an hour, you literally just exposed yourself because you're admitting that you weren't actually hungry. You just wanted some stimulation. That's what it is. Belugas in general, they tend to use food as their main source of stimulation, it's their main source of inspiration. And then they'll be like, oh, I love fall because, the pumpkin spice lattes come out. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fellow basic bitch myself, okay? I love a good pumpkin spice latte. I love a good PSL, all right? I am a fellow basic bitch myself, but I'm not over here saying, oh, fall revolves around food. That's the only way that I celebrate a transition into the new season. No, there are so many non-beluga activities I can do. So, for example, I'm recording this video in April, so summer is coming up. If I want to celebrate the summer, I don't have to go to a fucking cookout and eat 3,000 calories worth of barbecue. No, I can actually barbecue my own vegetables. I can make my own kebabs with like the little stick thing, and then I can put some peppers on there, and I can put that out on the grill in my apartment. So if I am going to celebrate the summertime with food, I can choose vegetables as my main way of celebration. I can go out on a beach day and just sit in the sun and read a book if I want to. That's another way to celebrate the season without revolving it around, oh, let me get a milkshake. Let me get some ice cream because it's summertime. Let me get some popsicles because it's summertime. Let me drink a 500-calorie iced lemonade because it's summertime. People love lemonade. I will never understand the lemonade obsession. Like, why are you so obsessed with lemonade? You're obsessed with lemon, and then it's not real lemonade. As a person who likes lemons, I enjoy lemons. I love lime. I love to squeeze lime on like everything. I love some fruit, okay? So that lemonade that you're drinking, it's not lemonade. You're just drinking high fructose corn syrup. That's what it is. It's lemon flavored syrup. It's basically like liquid candy, and then you're calling it lemonade. That's not lemonade. No, it does not make me feel like I'm in the summertime mood. All it's doing is dehydrating me and contributing to a headache, and is taking my blood sugar up super high, which is getting my body out of fat burning mode. So it's unnecessarily raising my blood sugar. But a lot of belugas, they don't think about that. And then they get stressed out during the summertime, like, oh, I can't go to the pool. Like, I can't wear my swimsuit. I need to cover my arms. Or they want to offend everybody and they want to make us stare at their big ass walking down the street. And they literally are exposing their cheeks so bad to the point where the Houston rodeo, they literally canceled the fucking rodeo. They had to change the whole dress code because the belugas came in and messed it up. So everybody else looked normal with their shorts on and whatever. But as soon as all the 500-pound quote unquote baddies came out, the 500-pound baddies came out, the belugas came out to play, and then everybody was like, oh no, absolutely not. We're changing this dress code. Like, imagine people being so offended by your body that they had to change the entire dress code for a nationally known event, which is the Houston rodeo. That's insane. I mean, I would be embarrassed at that point. Why would you not lose weight? If there's one thing that'll make me motivated to lose weight, is that. You're telling me that I looked so bad that you guys changed the whole dress code, and then you're taking pictures of how bad I look? That is the lifestyle of a lot of women who are living in Belugaville. It's a very embarrassing type of lifestyle. It's a very humiliating type of lifestyle. So why would I set myself up for that? I will never volunteer to be ridiculed. I will never volunteer to be disrespected. Belugas are very disrespected. They get treated like shit. Just go watch all their TikToks about like their dating stories. Go watch all of their friendship story times. Go watch videos of how they get treated in job interviews, how people stereotype them as lazy. Just go watch it. People literally report them at work and say they have yeast infections and shit. Imagine that sort of lifestyle. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be treated as a subhuman all because I was addicted to the white stuff. Sugar, salt, and flour. And by the way, I guarantee if you're overweight listening to this, and if you struggle with your diet, I guarantee you're addicted to one of those three things. It's one of those three. It's either flour, so that's all the bread, all the bread addicts. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm Italian. Bitch, being Italian has nothing to do with eating 20 pounds of bread. Why are you stereotyping Italian people? Oh, I'm Italian, so I'm just going to eat a whole loaf of bread every day. Bitch, they're not doing that in Italy. They don't eat an entire loaf of bread with fucking 10 pounds of olive oil in one day. So why are you trying to stereotype? Or they'll be like, oh, I'm Mexican, I'm Hispanic, so that's why I eat all these tortillas. Go to Mexico right now. You're not going to see them eating entire packets of tortillas in one day. You're literally stereotyping. You're trying to use your ethnic background as an excuse to be a beluga. And in some cases, other people from your family, they try to say that you're eating white people food because you're not eating these rich, greasy, carb heavy items. And it's like, that's not acting white. Why is it that your diet is associated with acting white? Like, that's one of the most ignorant talking points I've ever heard. So sometimes monocultural people from your background, they will try to make you feel like something's wrong with you. You're acting white, you're prorexia, or you have an ED because you're just eating a basic salad. Or they'll say something's wrong with you because you don't know what the latest fast food restaurants are. Bitch, am I 15 years old? Like, why would I still be getting excited about a fast food restaurant? That's literally what you do in high school. You get excited because you have no freedom in life yet. So you're excited to drive to a fast food place during your lunch hour. That's some high school shit. Once you become an adult, you hopefully will have more exciting things to look forward to. Like when I wake up in the morning, or if I think about the most exciting things going on, I have activities that I'm a part of. I'm a part of some clubs. I have friends that I can be thinking about. I could be talking to my family members. I have trips that I need to plan. I mean, I have bills that I need to pay. Like, there are so many other things that I could be thinking about other than a fucking donut. And also, at the very least, when I was getting out of being a beluga, if I really wanted a dessert, I would just make my own desserts at home because it kind of helps me to not have that instant gratification. So I used to be a cookie addict a little bit. So I would eat like 8 cookies in one day. And part of how I lost weight was instead of just going to the store and buying packs of Oreos and eating the entire pack in one day, yes, I could eat the whole pack or I could eat half a pack. Instead of doing that, I would go to the grocery store, I would get the actual cookie dough, or I would buy some Oreos and make my own chocolate covered Oreos. And like once I made the Oreos myself, for whatever reason, the fact that I sat there and was like making it, that kind of satisfied the craving itself. So I didn't even have to eat any of them. They lasted way longer. So it was like giving me time in between to think about my decision like, okay, do I really need all these Oreos? Do I really need to eat this right now? So that's one of my skinny girl hacks is if I'm ever craving something, I don't go and get it immediately. I wait 15 minutes. I will tell myself, okay, in 15 minutes, if I'm still hungry, then I can have that tortilla shell. In 15 minutes, if I still want it, then I can go get it. And most of the time, I don't even end up getting it. But some people were asking me, like, oh, Exoticals United, how do you stay so disciplined? Like, how do you not fall off track? Oh, well, that's easy because I don't want to look like a beluga. I just think about how I used to look. Like, okay, do I really want bra strap fat? Is it really worth having rolls on my back? Is it really worth having several love handles and like a muffin top? Do I really want that? Because that's what this cookie leads to. Every bite that I take, it's either getting me closer to my body goals or farther away. So it's like, okay, is it really that serious? To the point where I'm willing to be bad built just so I could eat as many Oreos as I want? No, it's not. It's not worth it because I don't like how I felt emotionally when I was a beluga. I didn't like walking into a room and feeling insecure about my body. I didn't like stressing out trying to hurry up and lose 10 pounds in 1 week, doing all this crazy shit, all this crash dieting. I didn't like that. I didn't like all of these cycles that I would go through. So that's what keeps me on track. I think about the negative side of being a beluga. And sometimes, this is a very diabolical tactic. This is for all the diabolical exoticals. Sometimes if I'm at a restaurant, if I notice somebody ahead of me in line and she is very big or I don't want to look like her, I will actually listen to what she orders and I will make sure to not order that. And I've told you that this has happened several times. Like one time I went to this breakfast spot and I really wanted to get the French toast. They have like this whipped cream on there and like all this sugar and syrup and fruit and stuff, and it just looks so good. And as soon as the big girl said, "Oh yeah, can I get the French toast?" I immediately was like, "Nope, I'm changing my order. I'm not about to sit here at this restaurant and be eating the same thing across the table from somebody that's obese. Absolutely not." So whatever she's doing, I'm doing the opposite. That's another way that I stay motivated. I literally will watch what the obese women are doing and I will do the opposite. Something else I'll do too is look at their results. That's another diabolical tactic. I know it's very fucked up, but seriously, I actually watch those videos of the big women where they talk about their life experiences. And then they talk about all of the terrors of being obese in our society. And then that keeps me in check as well. Like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to deal with that. Or I just listen to them talking about all their health issues, how they can't walk anymore. They've got diabetes now. Their hair fell out or something. They've got so many nutrient deficiencies. They're going through romance scams. They're getting scammed by Nigerians and having all their money taken by Nigerian scammers because, they're femcells basically. They're so desperate for love that now all the Igbo community is taking their fucking money and they're having to cash app men in other countries, and then they try to sign up for 90-day fiance to try to get some fame. So it's like, just look at their lives. That's another thing that stops me from being obese. That keeps me on track. Go look at those red pill videos and you'll see men and you'll hear their disgusting talking points about plus size women. You'll hear them say that they go for plus size women because the big women are willing to tolerate cheating. They'll say that it's easier to use the big women. They'll say that like the fat women sleep with them easier. So just go listen to how mean and terrible and disgusting people treat obese women. That keeps me in check as well because it's like, wow, I don't want to be treated like that. I don't want to be stereotyped like that. I don't want people to specifically seek me out, or they view me as less than because they know that I can't even be disciplined with my body. They're basically stereotyping them. Think about how men stereotype big women. They say, "Oh, well, she can't even be disciplined with her diet, so she's probably not disciplined with her vagina either. So let me just try to get a one night stand in." Think about how society treats women who are belugas. They treat them terribly. So that also keeps me on track. It's not just thinking about how good my life could be, it's also thinking about how bad my life could be if I don't keep myself on track and keep myself healthy. Something else that kept me on track is eating protein. Belugas never eat protein, and when they do eat protein, it's extremely low calorie and high fat. It's protein that's drenched in grease, such as fried chicken wings, or like something from a barbecue shack, or like something that's fast food, so it's extremely processed. But I'm convinced, though, that most belugas are not hungry, they're just bored. Because there's no way you could be hungry. You just ate hundreds of thousands of calories. You literally have hundreds of thousands of extra calories hanging off of your backside right now. So there's no way you can convince me you're that hungry. I'm just convinced that a lot of belugas are actually just bored. Their lives are boring. All they do is scroll their phones and just eat food and then go to drive-thrus. That's like the fun part of their day. A lot of them don't even go shopping. They don't even like to walk around with the shopping carts and stuff because they can't walk. You literally can't even walk for a long time because, you ate so much food to where now you're lethargic and tired. How many obese people do you see grocery shopping? Like, let's be honest. When you go to your local Whole Foods, when you go to the grocery store, do you see a lot of obese people walking up and down those aisles for 45 minutes? Adding stuff to their cart and then, carrying all those groceries. No, a lot of them just sit at home and they get their groceries delivered. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to spend my life just eating donuts. And that's the biggest, most exciting thing of my life. And it's like, okay, if I'm really passionate about donuts, I'm going to actually watch documentaries about the donuts and where they were created. And then maybe I'll go on a trip one day and then go to like a special donut factory or go on a tour or something. Even that is a better option than just going to the drive-thru every day. Like, that sounds boring to me. I don't want to go to the drive-thru every day. I want to catch flights. I don't want to catch drive-thrus. I don't want to catch myself in traffic waiting for food. I'd rather catch a flight somewhere. So instead of me eating donuts and croissants all day, bitch, I'm flying to Paris. How about them apples? I'm going to fly to Paris. I'm going to save up my money and go there, and then I can actually eat a croissant in Paris on my vacation. That sounds way more exciting and glamorous. I feel like a lot of women who are belugas, they forget about the fact that you can be glamorous if you want to. I don't want a basic lifestyle. I want to be glamorous. So instead of me obsessing about donuts, bitch, I will get a flight to the Netherlands and go to the original donut factories, where the actual Dutch people created the donuts in the first place before they even brought them to America. That's what I would be doing. Like, if I'm really that passionate about donuts, why don't I just take it all the way and just actually travel and go there? Do you see how much more exciting that sounds? Instead of driving to Krusty Kreme donuts, why don't I just take a trip? Why don't I take that donut money, save up, catch a flight, travel somewhere? I can make it a girls' trip. Me and my friends could go, and then I can go on a whole donut tour when I'm in that other country. And then, I could go on a walking tour because now it's like I'm burning calories as well. I just feel like there are so many more exciting ways to enjoy life. So a lot of people with this beluga mindset, they're settling for a cheap lifestyle. They're addicted to cheap pleasures. You're talking all this shit about dusty men. Bitch, you're dusty as well. What are you talking about? It's like you have the ability to see how everybody else is dusty. You can see all the flaws in society. You can call out every ism. You can call out every phobia. But suddenly when you look in the mirror, you can't call out any flaws with your own diet. If that's not mental illness, I don't know what is. And by the way, that leads me to my next point, which is that a lot of women in Belugaville are just NPCs. They're basically just brainwashed. They're living their life on autopilot. Because if you stop and think about it, donuts and sugar and processed food, it really is not that good. It's really not. It kind of tastes a little bit plasticky. You don't feel satisfied. Sometimes it even makes your stomach upset. Sometimes it's not even fresh. You're also overpaying for it, so you're literally like being scammed. So if you stop and think logically, you'll realize that a lot of the reason why people even buy that is because they're just living their life on autopilot. So it's just a habit. They made it into a habit. They don't have any other ideas for like other things to do with their day. They're just following whatever they see. Oh, there was an ad about donuts. Okay, I'm going to get donuts. All my friends eat donuts. Okay, I'm going to eat donuts. Oh, all the Mexicans eat tortillas and burritos. Okay, I'm going to eat burritos now. Oh, Italians like bread. Okay, let me just eat barrettes. So they're just NPC follower ass bitches. They're just sheep, basically. They just follow whatever the crowd is doing. And another thing that some belugas don't understand is that there will always be another donut. There will always be another fast food shop. So why do I have to go today? I don't have to go right now. It's like if you're driving past the fast food restaurant every day and you really want to go, you can go anytime. So why is it that it has to be this urgent thing like, oh no, I have to go today? Well, bitch, you're probably going to go tomorrow anyway, so you might as well just skip it today. But one thing I would do though is if I really had a craving that bad, I would make myself walk to the coffee shop. So like in my case, one of my weaknesses used to be Rice Krispies, Rice Krispie treats. So there was this one coffee shop where they always had like the giant Rice Krispie treats for like $4. And I love those. But you know what? I started making myself walk there. Like, okay, instead of me driving 2.5 miles to get my Rice Krispie treat, I'm going to start walking. So it would be about 5,000 steps for me to walk there and then 5,000 steps walking back. So at least I'm getting my 10K steps. So it's like, even if you don't want to stop the habit, you can at least switch around the routine. So instead of driving there, maybe walk there. Maybe you could go on your bike there. Or maybe like you get your donut and then after that you walk home. Or maybe you eat a healthy meal or something. But something else that causes women to be belugas is they do not know how to cure their cravings. And they don't know how to suppress their hunger naturally. So if I want to kill my cravings, the way I kill my cravings is eating something healthy of the same texture. So for example, instead of a donut, if I want a soft texture, I will go for something that has oats, maybe like a banana oat baked thing or something. Like I could make something at home that has a similar soft taste They even have those cakes that you can make in a mug, but you can do it with like protein powder. So maybe mixing that up. So like some protein powder, maybe like an egg or something. I don't know how you make them, but I could make something like that. That replaces the texture of a donut. So that's a way that I kind of get rid of cravings. I eat a variety of healthy foods with different textures and like different levels of sweetness or saltiness. And that helps me to not crave so much processed food. Also, getting enough protein, or just doing high protein in general, maybe even eating some volume foods if necessary. That's something that I've done in the past because I used to be addicted to having this feeling of being full. And so, to help kind of wean myself off of that, I started off by eating lower calorie foods in a higher volume. So, things like strawberries or cabbage or just leafy greens in general. If my stomach is full, I am not going to be urgently wanting a donut. A lot of times, women crave donuts because they didn't eat a good dinner the night before. They don't have any fucking nutrients in their body. They haven't had enough protein for the last 6 months. They haven't had any vitamin B or vitamin E or micronutrients. And so their body just feels empty, and they don't know how to read their body's cues. And so they're assuming that they want sugar when in reality, their body is craving nutrients. So that's exactly what happened to me. But I started drinking tea because tea has like little micronutrients in it, little like minerals and stuff. So I would do that. I started hydrating myself. Sometimes you're not hungry, you're thirsty. So once I was hydrating myself, once I started eating enough protein, and then I kind of eliminated the processed foods, then I didn't have all that food noise. And by the way, a good replacement for a donut is like the little rice cakes. You can do a rice cake with different types of toppings or fillings on it. That's a good way to get kind of this dessert feeling, but you're not getting as much of a sugar and fat bomb, because at least it's just a rice cake. So just kind of like getting creative, maybe starting off with replacing foods. I know some people they don't like to replace foods; they like to portion control. But things like donuts and fast food, it's not meant for you to be able to portion control. They literally put chemicals in it so that you can't portion control. So I don't recommend trying to control that, especially if you're already a beluga. Clearly, you're bad at portion control anyway. So start off by just replacing it with a healthier version. Like with the whole cookie thing, part of how I started losing weight and not eating so many cookies, I started off by eating those keto cookies. So it comes in a package. It's just one big giant cookie in a package. Does it taste good? No, it doesn't taste good. I'm going to be honest. It kind of tastes like shit. But that helped me because I still kind of tricked my brain into thinking I was eating a cookie, but in reality, it was kind of like a fake replacement of a cookie. So that just kind of helped me. That's why they make the replacements. It's to help you to wean yourself off of that addiction. But honestly, I've never met a beluga who doesn't eat fast food. I've never even heard of that. Every single overweight person that I know of eats fast food. They eat in a drive-thru. In fact, that's like the majority of what they do is eat out. So that's what I would eliminate if I had to start over all over again. Like, let's say I was 200 pounds right now and I'm starting from scratch. That's the first thing I would do is cut out fast food. No more drive-thrus, ever. Cut out the drive-thrus, go to the grocery store instead. So whatever that $20 that you were about to spend at Krispy Kreme, go spend that $20 at a grocery store. Go get some flour and some stuff to make your own donuts if necessary, because even that is better than just going through a drive-thru. And by the way, most people, they don't spend just $5 at the drive-thru. Most people will end up getting something extra because that's how the company is created. That's how capitalism works. They always have some sort of sale going on. There's always a deal going on, like, oh, the donuts are buy two, get one, or, you came at the end of the day, so these other donuts are half off. That's how they sell you. That's how you end up spending more money, becoming broker and fatter, and basically becoming a slave to the donuts. So you are single-handedly funding that business and getting nothing in return. It's like, okay, if I really like donuts, I'm going to buy some stock in a company or something. Like, I'm not just going to sit there and be a consumer. That's also like a part of this consumer mindset. Oh, I want to consume everything. I want to buy everything. I want to, that's my way of feeling happy is via consumerism. Part of people being overweight, it also has to do with them not being financially disciplined. They're not. There's no way you can tell me you're financially disciplined if you are middle class or working class and then you spend thousands on fast food places. So I think it's like a series of problems. I feel like being overweight is just kind of a symptom of an underlying problem of having a lack of discipline and then low impulse control, not being able to like discipline yourself or say no. In order to be skinny, you have to be able to say no to yourself. No, you're not going to get the donut. No, you're not going to be 200 pounds. No, you will not skip that workout. No, you will not lay in bed all day and doom scroll. Another thing that beluga women should ask themselves is, why did you get out of shape in the first place? How did you even get here? Were you born like this? Were you born 500 pounds? Probably not. So, how did you even get out of shape? Usually it's because of something negative. You were in a bad relationship, you had kids, and you were too poor. You couldn't afford those kids. And so you were working and sacrificing just so you can survive. You were in survival mode. Maybe you were depressed, you were mentally ill, somebody passed away and you were grieving. You were in a relationship with a dusty. Okay, all those things are negative. So, how about we eliminate the thing that was the trigger? So, get rid of that bad relationship or maybe get some counseling if you're going through grief and stuff. Because that's another thing too. Like with the weight gain, it's a side effect of something in your life being off, clearly. Because in order to gain weight and be unhealthy, you have to be bad at self care. You have to be, not consistent with caring for your own body. So that's something that a lot of belugas won't admit. And then they have the audacity to try to talk shit about other women's bodies. Or they try to get surgeries to try to hide the fact that they're fat. So they'll try to get like 360 lipo and a BBL and then like get a breast lift or whatever. But then they still end up overeating and then their stomach is all lumpy. And it's like, ma'am, why not just solve the root problem instead of trying to spend tens of thousands to try to get all these lipos? And then you have to get it over and over again. No, just solve the problem. Why are you overeating in the first place? Oh, it's because your life is boring. Oh, it's because you're coping with this man cheating on you, and now you are trying to comfort yourself by eating takeout. Oh, it's because you don't have any friends. You have no social skills. Nobody likes you, or you don't like anybody else. So because of your lack of social skills, you're just sitting in the house 24/7. You never leave your house. So you're living like a prisoner. That's the biggest thing you have to look forward to, is getting that DoorDash ping on your phone. You're basically living online. A lot of belugas, they live online. They stay in their houses 24/7, and then the houses are usually dirty as well because, it's physically demanding for you to be cleaning and scrubbing and, walking around your house and stuff. I mean, you can get 10,000 steps in your apartment just from doing a lot of deep cleaning. So a lot of women who are very like out of shape, their place is also dirty as well because, she doesn't want to get up and stand in front of the dishwasher and like scrub everything or cook. So that's another issue as well. They're living on the internet. They live vicariously through celebrities or, they live vicariously through random women. They're sitting on the internet talking shit in my comment section instead of getting on the elliptical. They get bored, and so they spend all their time watching Real Housewives and Baddies and Love Island and Love is Blind, all of these shows that they would never be cast on. It's like, ma'am, if I'm that passionate about all these TV shows, I need to go be a fucking actress then. Why am I just sitting in my bedroom? How about I become the fucking girl on Love Island then, if I'm going to be that obsessed with it? If I'm that obsessed with Nicolandria, you got these women who are obsessed with Nicolandria and they will never be Olandria herself. They're obsessed with what she's doing, how her body looks, etc. They're living vicariously through her. And it's like, okay, ma'am, so just go ahead and become that for yourself. Why don't I become the girl who looks good in the bikini? Why don't I become the girl who is successful or, I get brand deals and all that stuff? Why don't I just get out of the house instead of just sitting inside? And the most exciting thing in my life is that there's a new episode of a show coming on. Or, the most exciting thing is going through the drive-thru. That's very sad. That's a very sad and depressing life. Think of how depressing that is. Even people in third world countries are living a better life than that. Because at least the person in the third world country, and they don't even have Wi-Fi, they're going outside. They're going to the market. They're selling stuff. They're business owners and stuff. They've got friends and family that they're hanging out with. And now you've got a person in a first world country who has plenty of access to food. And the best she can do with her life is just sit around and talk shit in Exoticals United comment sections. That is just the life of a dusty beluga. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.